14th of August, Rabbi Levitt, Gemorah. Welcome back, Rabbi.
Okay. Okay, so let's see. Yeah. Okay, we're in the middle of this this cheshbon over here about matbeos and about malachim. So so let's see over here. Let's see, where should we go from over here?
97b. Want to do Amar Rav Nachman? Very, very close to the top.
Amar of Nachman? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mistabra mil say Dishmuel Deis le orcha le mezal lemeshan.
Right.
Rav Nachman said, it seems reasonable that Shmuel's ruling refers to where the lender has to journey to Mishan. So let's see, what was Shmuel's ruling? Shmuel's ruling was you can pay him with the money from Mishan.
Right. Even though that money is not accepted now in the place where the loan was made,
Right.
Because the Melech passled it.
Right. So Rav Nachman says if he's going to Mishan anyway, then you can pay him in Mishan money.
Right.
Aval leisle orcha lo, but where he does not have a reason to travel to Mishan, no, you can't give him that money. You can't give him those coins, according to Rav Nachman.
Right.
According to Rav Nachman's understanding of Shmuel.
Right. Rav Nachman is explaining Shmuel.
Okay. So Esve Rava LeRav Nachman. So Rava challenged Rav Nachman. Ein mechalalin al ha-maos she'enam yotzos. One may not deconsecrate on coins that do not pass as currency. So in other words, he's saying you can't treat these as coins because they don't pass as currency. Just as you can't deconsecrate on them, you can't use them to pay. Ketzad. How so? Hayu lo maos kos vios I'm sorry, Yerushal mios. Okay, if he had Kovite Yerushalayimite coins, what does that mean? Kovite Yerushalayimite coins that were minted by Ben Koziva, also known as Bar Kokhba, the Jewish king who reigned in Jerusalem while leading the 2.5-year revolt against the Roman Empire, Hadrian, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I guess it means that he lived in Jerusalem and he minted coins. He minted coins, the Kosovite coins were the coins of Bar Kokhba that were in circulation in Jerusalem. Correct?
Yeah.
O shel melachim harishonim, or they're coins that are from the earlier kings. Now my English says, which no longer pass as currency.
Yeah, neither the coins of Bar Kokhba nor these other coins of other kings of earlier times are circulated anywhere.
Okay. So these are examples of the kinds of coins that you can't use to be poda on Ma'aser Sheni. Ein mechalelin, you may not deconsecrate. Ha shel acharonim dumya de rishonim. Okay, but later kings are similar to earlier kings, meaning although they pass as currency in other provinces, they do not pass as currency in their present location. So they also are disqualified from deconsecrating.
No, the Gemorah is saying an inference that you have to know when the brisa starts and when the Gemorah picks up.
Oh, I see. The but is a separator. I missed that. But later kings, even though they don't circulate in Jerusalem, but they do circulate to other places. Mechalelin, we do deconsecrate on them.
That will be the inference that comes out from this brisa, because the brisa is an example of coins that you cannot deconsecrate onto them. The coin, it only brings as an example coins of earlier kings or coins of Bar Koziva, which are no good anywhere. And so
Right.
the Gemorah, Rav is saying, you see from this brisa that if they would be good somewhere, even though they may not be good here, you could be machalel on them. You could deconsecrate onto these coins, and if so that would be a kasha on Rav Nachman.
So in other words, you're saying to Reb Nachman, you say if he's not going to Mishan, then you can't use the coins. But we have here a situation where if a coin is in circulation anywhere, whether or not you're going there, you can deconsecrate on it.
Right.
Okay.
Right. That's what Rashi says in Dibra Maskil Machaloi. Afugab the Leisle Orcha Lahasam, Mamakam Shiyotzin. They'll still, you'll see from this bright, the brisa is saying that they would be nevertheless good. And this person would be on his way to Yerushalayim in order to spend this money that he deconsecrated on in Yerushalayim. The coins don't circulate there in Yerushalayim, and so this would be a kasha on Reb Nachman, says Rashi.
But it's kind of weird, because what's the point of deconsecrating onto coins if you're not going to use them? You can't use them outside of Yerushalayim because this is the Meiser. It has to be eaten in Yerushalayim. So it doesn't seem to make much sense.
Well, so you're asking a question, how, practically speaking, is he going to be able to do with these coins that he has over here that we say it's a good consecration?
Right.
Consecration.
Right. Kash on the Meiser.
Yeah, this is more of not a kasha on a Meiser. This is a kasha. This is a good question. I would imagine that somebody's gonna. Rashi doesn't give us a hint about that one. Maybe we'll before we answer this question, let's see what the Gemorah is still in the middle over here.
Right.
We'll see if we have an answer to the question after we concluded how we're going to understand this brisa in light of Reb Nachman.
Okay, so Amar Le, he, that is Reb Nachman, said to Rava, Haka b'mayaskinen. Here, what are we dealing with? Kishein malchuyos makpidos zo al zo. So with a case where the monarchies are not particular about this and this, about one another.
Yeah, one on the other, right?
And my English says, and they allow people of their countries to hold foreign currencies.
Right.
Why is that relevant? Let's see. They allow you to hold foreign currencies, meaning the currency may not be good where you live, but you're allowed to have that currency in your possession.
Right. So therefore says Reb Nachman, that's why this will be a good deconsecration. So what's the explanation? We have to understand what the explanation is. How does this work exactly? So in other words, what does it mean that the kings are not particular about this? That means that they allow you to they allow a person to hold foreign coins, and they don't try to if he would go across the border with them, they don't confiscate them from him, and they don't search out and take such coins away from people. So therefore, what does that mean? That means perhaps as follows, we could say, since that is so even though this person admittedly is not on his way to Meshan, but he's on his way he's not on his way to Meshan. Nevertheless, these coins do have a value to him because he could give them to people who are
going to Meshan.
He could openly trade with such coins with people who are interested in such coins, and they won't be in danger but worrying about getting them confiscated, and therefore it's a valuable coin. You're giving him something, and therefore these coins are regarded as proper coins. They have a value. They're not coins which, since they're not in circulation here in this place, they have no value. And they have a very practical value to this person who's being paid these coins. he can now trade these coins, just like he trades other merchandise. He can't use it as a coin, but he could use it as a certain sense as a trading tool. So that Reb Nachman says that'll be good enough for them to be regarded as coins with which to do his deconsecration. But we still actually would have your question. We would still actually have your question. How's he practically going to use these coins? But we'll continue to reserve that question until we get to the end of this discussion, because the Gemorah right now is going to ask a question on what Reb Nachman has just said.
Well, maybe you have answered my question. He can take the coins to Yerushalayim, and even though he can't use them as coins, but he can barter them, and he can get his food that he needs to eat.
Well, let's see. If this is getting a little complicated, because these coins, the reason that he's using them, the reason that he, in a classic case of Meiser Sheni, he's bringing up coins which they have, those coins have Kedushas Meiser Sheni on them. The Chilul, what it did, it emptied the Kedusha of the Meiser Sheni Kedusha of the fruits, and now it's on the coin. It's on these coins. And now, so he's bringing them up to Yerushalayim, these coins that got Kedusha. And now when he buys food with them, so now it's getting a bit complicated. Is now the food, the Kedusha goes onto the food now, and it goes off the coins. That's probably what happens. The food, it goes onto the food, and it goes off the coin that he traded with. So if he would barter these coins with, perhaps maybe like you're saying, if he would barter these coins from Meshan with somebody who has a need for such coins, and that person would give him back coins that could be spent in Yerushalayim. So now those coins now you know what that did? I think that'd be a form of chilul of the coins. But the problem is, and let's see, now the coins that he's got now, maybe that'll work. Maybe that'll work.
Well, I think we have two possibilities. Maybe one is good and one is not good. The one that would seem to be very clearly good is he goes to a farmer and he says, I have these coins, give me 10 avocados and 15 tomatoes and whatever. And so that would seem to be certainly good, because he's basically turning those coins into produce, which he's going to eat.
Oh.
But if he goes to a money changer and he says, here's these Mishan coins, give me Jerusalem coins, maybe we would say that's no good, because he can't eat the Jerusalem coins. And even though he's intending to go and buy produce, maybe we would say that's an extra step, and it's not okay.
Yeah, this needs a little bit more research, this question that you're asking.
Yeah.
The Gemorah is not concerned with it right now. It's just concerned with answering the question of whether these coins, how is it that it'll be a good deconsecration.
Right.
But, yeah. Okay. So we'll keep the question, and we'll keep going on in the Gemorah over here. Now the Gemorah has a question now on the words of Reb Nachman. is what he just answered over here. According to what Reb Nachman is saying, now the Gemorah's got a question. Ella,
Ella ki amar Shmuel keshe keshe malchuyos makpidos zolazo zoalzo. So then, when Shmuel says that the monarchy is particular, then the monarchies are particular about each other. Hechi matze mamte lahu. How is he able to bring the money there? Oh, so if they are particular, then it won't work, because the money can be confiscated on the border.
right.
Okay, so this is a question on Shmuel.
It's a question on Reb Nachman, the way he's explaining Shmuel.
He's explaining Shmuel. Let's see. I'm just going to go back and say what Reb Nachman said. First thing Reb Nachman said is that it's where the person is going to be going to Mishan anyway. But if he's not going to Mishan, no. So then Rava challenged with this principle that you cannot deconsecrate on coins that are not currency. For example, a Kosovoite a Jerusalem coin or a coin from earlier kings.
Right.
And Reb Nachman said back, we're dealing with monarchies that are not particular. But if they were particular, then it would be a problem. So when does Reb Nachman say that Shmuel says that they are particular?
When does Reb Nachman say that Shmuel says that they're not particular? Okay, so first of all, we have to Shmuel. What did Shmuel say? Shmuel only said one thing. Shmuel said you can use coins from Meishan, even though they're no good over here, and tell the guy, go and spend them in Meishan. That's all Shmuel said.
Right.
Now, Rav Nachman is adding on to the words of Shmuel.
Right.
He's adding a limitation to the words of Shmuel.
Right.
He's saying the words of Shmuel are limited to the case where the receiver of these coins is on his way to Meishan. If he's not on his way to Meishan, then he cannot give him those coins. So said Reb Nachman. Step 3, Rava asks a kasha on Reb Nachman that from Meiser Sheni, and we see, without getting into the details of the case, we see that the Brisa is telling us that even if the guy is not on his way to Yerushalayim, the deconsecration works. Meaning to say, even if the lender would not be on his way to Meishan, it still would be an effective giving of currency, of value to the lender. That's the kasha of Rava. on Reb Nachman from the Brisa. Reb Nachman, step 4, answers the question, and he says we have to make a limitation in what the Brisa is talking about. True, the Brisa is talking about coins that are no good over here, but they're good somewhere else. And it's true that even though the guy is not on his way to Meishan, he still could be given those coins. But we got to say a third thing, that we're talking only in a case where the kings are not particular about one another's coins. So what you have to do, Lou, is you have to write down, you have to make a chart, a flow chart of the steps of this Gemorah.
Yeah.
And you have to.
It's very confusing.
Yeah. So in other words, there's step 1, that the rule is you can give coins that are no good here, but they're good in Meishan. That's Shmuel's rule. That's his din. Reb Nachman comes along at step 2. He says, "Oh, that's only in the case that the guy is on his way to Meishan. If he's not, then they're no good. Can't give it to him." Step 3, Rava asks on Reb Nachman from the Brisa. You see from the Brisa, not like that. You see from the Brisa that this guy is going to be deconsecrating coins from the recent kings, and the whole thing with the recent kings is that even though these coins are no good here, but they are good where the recent king rules, and so therefore you see that and doesn't say anything about whether or not he's on his way to that kingdom over there. So it doesn't make no difference. So you see, not like what you're saying, Reb Nachman. In other words, you see that you can give coins from Meishan, period. Just like Shmuel said, without any limitation. On that, Reb Nachman answers back and he says, no, not only is it not true what you say, Rava, that you don't need any limitation, but what the Bryce is telling me is that you need a second detail over here. You need to say that not only, even in spite of the fact that he's not on his way to Meishan, you need to say that it's only because of the fact that it's only good on that account because the kings are not particular with one another's currency, and they allow people to hold coins from the foreign currencies, from the foreign kings in their kingdom, and they're not going to confiscate them if they go across the border, and they allow them to openly trade them in the even if they're not accepted in the marketplace, but they are allowed to be held and traded in where the person is. Where the person is. That's step 4. Now.
Wait, I'm confused about step 4. Step 1 is coins that are good in Mesha are okay. Step 2 is Rav Nachman says only if he's going to Mesha. Step 3 says they're only good if foreign currency is allowed. Correct so far? Rabbi, I can't hear you.
One second.
I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear.
Can't hear me.
I can. Yes, I can.
Okay, well.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
I can hear you also.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Did you hear my summary of the first three steps?
No.
All right, can I say it again?
Sure.
Okay, step one. Coins that are good only in Misha are still usable.
Yeah.
Step two. That's only if the person is going to Mishan.
Yeah.
Step three. Coins are only usable or deconsecratable if foreign currency is allowed.
Step three is that we see from this brisa that even though he's not on his way to Meshan, these coins from Meshan are good. You can use them to deconsecrate. That's the bottom line from what we see from the coins of the recent kings. We can use recent kings' coins to deconsecrate, even though they can only really be used in the locale of the recent king, and he's on his way to Yerushalayim, Rashi says. So he's not on his way to where this king reigns, and nevertheless, you could deconsecrate onto such coins. And so what we see, what the bottom line of this brisa teaches us is that you don't need the second step. You don't need the limitation that Rav Nachman is telling us that you need. Even if he's not on his way to Meshan, you see that the coin still can be used for deconsecration, which means that it's a valid currency.
Okay, and step four says that that's only true if foreign currency is allowed.
Right. That's where Rav Nachman answered.
Four says three only if foreign currency is allowed.
That's step four. Rav Nachman said that's what it means that ein malchios makpidos zo al zu, that the kings are not particular with one another's currency in their own country.
Right. And then it says, but if they are particular, then you can't do it.
Oh, so now the Gemorah says in step 5, it opens up the whole thing over here that we got to really understand what's going on. The Gemorah says
when Shmuel says,
yeah,
where monarchies are particular, and my question was, where does Shmuel say that? We don't see Shmuel saying that anywhere.
Okay, so what do we mean? We mean like this. The Gemorah is saying that according to what you have now just answered, Reb Nachman, you are saying that in the event that the kings are not makpid on one another, that's not the case that Shmuel was talking about, according to you. Because you say...
According to who?
According to you, Reb Nachman,
Reb Nachman.
According to you, Rav Nachman, who said that we can only understand Shmuel in the event that the lender is on his way to Meshan. But if he's not on his way to Meshan, so then he can't give him those coins from Meshan. So Rav Nachman said, yes, this brisa that says that we don't care whether they're on the way to Meshan, that's talking about a case of kings that are not particular about one another. That's where we say that even though he's not on his way to Meshan, the coins are good. In other words, that case of where the kings are not makpid, that's a case where there is no distinction between he's on his way to Meshan and he's not on his way to Meshan. There's no distinction in that case. Well, Reb Nachman, he said that we can only understand Shmuel in a case where there is a distinction between he's on his way to Meshan and he's not on his way to Meshan. So therefore, the Gemorah is saying, according to what you have just said, Reb Nachman, it'll come out that what you're understanding Shmuel to be talking about, a case where there will be a distinction between on his way to Meshan and not on his way to Meshan must be when the kings are, yes, makpid on one another.
Because now he can't go to Meshan.
Because you, Reb Nachman, have said that in the case where the kings are not makpid about one another, so then there's no distinction between on his way and not on his way. You admitted that. You were forced to admit that because the Brisa says so. The Brisa says that, we don't care whether he's on his way to Meshan or not. That was Rav's kasha. And Reb Nachman answered, he defended himself in saying, yes, because that case, you know why that case doesn't have the distinction that I said? It doesn't have the distinction that I said about being on the way to Meshan and not on the way to Meshan, because it's talking about a case where the kings are not makpid about one another's coins. So the Gemorah says, so if so, then you mean to say that Shmuel was only talking about a case where the kings are makpid on one another. And that's where your rule will apply, Reb Nachman, where we make a distinction between the being on the way and not being on the way to Meshan. You follow that? You have to write it out.
I think so. We're understanding that Rav Nachman's amendment becomes what Shmuel says.
Yes, absolutely. That was what Reb Nachman is saying. That Reb Nachman is saying this is what Shmuel means. When Shmuel says that Meshan currency is good currency here, he means to say, and he means to say only if a person is on his way to Meshan. And now Rava said, whoa, the Brisa doesn't say that, Reb Nachman. The Brisa says even if he's not on his way to Meshan, the coins are good. And Reb Nachman said, yes, because that's talking about a specific case where the kings are not particular about one another. So in that case, there's no distinction between he's on his way, he's not on his way. On that, the Gemorah counters, so then according to you, Reb Nachman, then Shmuel is going to come out and say, when the case that he's talking about, Shmuel's talking about a case where the kings are makpid on one another. That's the only alternative that we have to be able to. Right. We only have two possibilities. The kings are makpid or the kings are not makpid. So if you, Reb Nachman, admit that Shmuel never said his din in a case where they are not makpid, right? Or rather, you only make sorry, I didn't say it exactly right. You only make your limitation on Shmuel in that case where you do not make. I'm getting confused myself. I can't say the words. And that's already 12:32.
Let's review this
over here. If you look on the bottom of my Gemorah over here, you see that I wrote out a 1, 2, 3, 4. You got to know 6 different cases over here. At the end of the day, you got to know 6 different cases, whether they're makpid, whether they're not makpid, whether they're on their way, whether they're not on their way, whether the money's good, whether the money's not good. You got 6 different boxes to fill in over here. Oh, and by the way, we didn't get to the Gemorah's answer. The Gemorah's answer is that we got to say that we're talking about a case where they're not so makpid. It's a middle road approach. The Gemorah's answer.
So you say I have 4 cases. So I need help. I need to expand this to 6.
Right. Because there's in other words, there's 3 variable scenarios. The kings are totally makpid. The kings are not at all makpid. And the kings are somewhat makpid. And the Gemorah's answer is going to come out. The kings are somewhat makpid. And like that, in that scenario, we will find a distinction that Rav Nachman draws between whether he's on his way, whether he's not on his way to Meshan. That's what we're looking for.
All right, well, hopefully we'll get more clarity tomorrow, because right now I mean, I think I understand the 4 steps. But I need to understand 2 more.
Okay, very good.
All right,
So-
thank you, Rabbi.
We'll continue on page
Okay.
72 tomorrow.
Tomorrow will be on, according to my marker, we're on 97B2.
Right.
On the left-hand column, in the middle, where it says the Gemorah answers.
Shmuel refers.
Yes.
Okay,
All right, thank you so much.
all the best.
Appreciate your patience